So our next guests are Véronique Hombroekx, and she is managing director for the Mouton Cadet Brand, and Jérôme Aguirre, the director for Mouton Cadet Wines. And they're both here to talk to us about their wonderful Fair for Life program. They join me now from Bordeaux, France. Véronique, Jérôme, welcome. We're so glad to have you here with us.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Nathalie.
Et vous aussi. Okay, that's the limit of my French, by the way. I'm not
No.
gonna. But Veronique, let me start with you. Walk me through the moment you realized that the Fair for Life program could work for a Bordeaux wine brand at Mouton Cadet's scale.
Yes, let's go for that. So I think for sure, more than a decade, we have built a distinctive model of responsible viticulture for Mouton Cadet with our technical team, but also with the network of our wine grower, which was an approach rooted into the value of our family company, Baron Philippe de Rothschild. So we made strong environmental commitments, cutting emission, expanding organic viticulture, but felt one element was missing, and that was the human dimension. At the same time, we saw how fair trade label was transforming value chain in order to in other industry like cocoa industry, coffee industry, textile, cosmetics, and that raised a simple but I think powerful question: why shouldn't wine benefit from the same model? What made this Fair for Life label credible for Mouton Cadet was our ecosystem of more than 100 of wine grower partner. We saw that with the right structure, it could become, like I said, a true driver of impact, not just a niche initiative.
That's great. Yes, proving that a winery of size can do it, that it's, as you say, not just a niche initiative that a small winery could handle. It just sets the tone for the industry. I mean, it's a real leadership position to take because many people will say, oh, yes, sure, you can with a little winery, but not, at scale. But you've proven that it is possible. Now, Veronique, you said that the inspiration came from Vignoble, Gabriel and Company. So tell us more about that story.
Yes, it's a small vineyard, so it's a collective approach of Gabriel and Co, located as well in Bordeaux, and it was really by coincidence. I first noticed a small Fair for Life label on the label of one of their wine, and it immediately captured our attention and prompted us to explore that what I think at that time when we didn't know about it, but that was really, I was very curious to understand what stands behind that label. And when it became clear to me that this was exactly the kind of label that could express what we truly wanted for Mouton Cadet, then we said, okay, let's go for it. Because it was all about respect for people, respect for terroir, but with a long ethical approach, working together, building something collectively. And this is, the reason why I thought that this could make Mouton Cadet a genuine human journey, a community of wine growers behind every bottle, treated with respect and care. And that was for me a kind of revelation, saying, yes, this is what we do, and this is where we want to go as well.
Right, and just the massive coordination though of 100 different growers, that's something, as opposed to just managing your own smaller winery. Now, Veronique, when you joined Baron Philippe de Rothschild in 2018, was Fair for Life already being discussed, or did you bring that initiative with you?
So at that moment, we were not talking in 2018. We were not talking about Fair for Life because in the wine industry at that time, nobody was claiming that label. So when I joined in 2018, the company had already strong commitment behind Mouton Cadet, especially on environmental side, but no label yet brought them together in a visible way. So Fair for Life as a structured certification was absolutely not existing. What I brought was, I think, the conviction that sustainability must be holistic, not only environmental, but also social, and taking care as well of the economy. And from there, then the idea was shaped collectively with our internal team and partner.
Yeah, the human element is often left out of this, but humans are a big part of the environment. I mean, you're creating a product for the enjoyment of people, but the actual work conditions of the people creating this wine matter just as much. And it's great. It's your vision that brought this to the company. So, Veronique, how does Fair for Life fit into the larger social responsibility picture for Baron Philippe de Rothschild that already includes organic viticulture? You've mentioned the French government's program called High Environmental Value and the Bordeaux Wine Council's program. It's called Bordeaux, Let's Cultivate Tomorrow, for corporate responsibility.
Yes, good question. So for us, I think it's really one single story rather than a series of separate initiatives. I think what makes the difference is that we decided to place CSR as our central value. So for many years, we have been committed on the environmental side, but we felt that sustainability could not stop here. So what was missing was, as I said, the social dimension, and that's exactly where Fair for Life came in. Not as a disruption, but as a continuation of what we had already built with our wine grower over the time. Long-term contract, fair pricing, very close day-to-day support, and last but not least, a development fund dedicated to the wine grower community, financed by 1% of the sales of our Mouton Cadet Rouge.
Yeah,
so as you can see, the certification allowed us to take that one step further in a much more structured and visible way, to illustrate the development fund, give our wine grower community the means to invest collectively in projects that really addressed their future, their concrete challenges, from climate adaptation to knowledge transmission. So behind of that, there is a strong conviction. Sustainability becomes serious only if you build a 360 approach. Environmental, social, economic aspects are completely interconnected.
They are. It's an ecosystem, just as it takes a healthy ecosystem to grow wine, to grow and make great wine. And you've already cut your energy-related carbon emissions at the winery by 94.3% since 2007, which is remarkable. We're going to talk more about that development fund that you mentioned briefly there. But Véronique, why did you select the Mouton Cadet Classic Rouge as the launch product? We're going to taste this later, and not a smaller wine?
Well, just because probably, as you said previously, it's easy to do it on a very small scale. So you can do that for, I don't know, 50,000 bottles, probably in an easier way. But we choose Mouton Cadet Rouge as the ambassador of the label very deliberately. It is our flagship wine, our leading reference worldwide. So it allows us to carry the message at scale. But of course, that doesn't mean that the rest of the vineyard are not involved. We do it consciously all over the place for all the brands. But we decided to choose Mouton Cadet Rouge really to be the ambassador of the Fair for Life label.
Yeah, that's great. Now, you said that the growers are part of the Mouton Cadet family. What does family actually mean when contracts and great prices are on the table? How are you mixing those concepts of the economics and the family of growers?
Yeah, so family is not just a word for us. It's something very concrete. By the way, when we work together for such a long time, some of them are part of the family for more than 10 years. So we know each other, we know their family, they know us. So there is a very close relationship between our technical team and them, but also, as I said, it's always with such a happiness that when I take one day and I go together with Jérôme and going to visit them, to talk about their vineyards, to talk about where their challenge they are facing. So it's all about creating interest for each other. It is built on this famous long-term relationship, but also because we are not only working together, we are enjoying facing challenges together. We also establish multi-year contracts, fair purchase price, above the market average based on real production cost, and very close day-to-day support. Believe me, every day we have them on the phone. Technical, administrative, financial support. And you know what? That creates stability,
Sure.
trust into our relationship. And this is, I think, the definition of being part of the family. We trust each other, and this is what happened in my family. I trust my family, and they trust me, and this is, I think, a true story that we have been able to build with our community of wine growers for Mouton Cadet.
Absolutely. And it's so impressive that 70% of your growers have been with you for 9 years or more. That starts to become over time generational. Now, Jérôme, your team of 7 enologists supports 90 growers across 1,200 hectares. What does a typical site visit look like? Now, Véronique just mentioned the two of you have done site visits. Describe one of those or one that you go on your own. What's happening?
Okay, but first we say hello to the farmer and hello to the vineyard first.
All right, yes.
We are present every day during all the growing season, start during the pruning until the winemaking. And in each step, we are present for all the technical advice. We help them for the monitoring on the vineyard practice. And the target, in fact, is how we can optimize for each farmer, because each farmer is unique, the quality and the production to after blend the different personality of from each farmers.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, and all very customized to each vineyard site because they're all so different. It's not like you just overlay a template and there you go, just follow these 6 instructions and you're good.
Yeah,
Now,
Bordeaux is plural.
yeah, absolutely. It's plural. It's big. It's diverse, and people often don't realize that when they just see the prestige labels just the diversity that's going into every bottle. Jérôme, you mentioned an app that shares essential information in real time. Maybe tell us a little bit more about that tool.
Yes, we have developed tools to share key information in real time with our wine growers. This is really, really important. For example, we can share in real time the meteorological
Jérôme, it
information.
might be, sorry, it might be just me, but I'm not hearing you
No, me
as well.
neither. Me
Yeah,
neither.
maybe you can adjust your earphones or your speaker and try that one again.
This is better now.
That's perfect. So yeah, take it from the top there.
So we have tools to share key information in real time with our wine growers. This app allows them to access in technical information is essential in terms of management during the growing season. For example, with this app, we can share in real time meteorological information and to prepare the treatment, yes or no, before the rain. And this is really a comfortable tool for our farmers.
So you're giving them weather predictions and suggested
Exactly.
advice,
You
whether
know,
it's picking or cropping or whatever needs to be done at that time of the season.
we work with the nature. That's why we need to have all this information, all this data to take good decision, you know? And
Right.
because we work with less pesticide, we have a big part of our farmers organic, we need to reduce the risk with this app.
Yeah, you're really at the mercy of Mother Nature. I mean, all crops are, but wine in particular. And then if you're implementing all of these Fair for Life and sustainability kinds of practices, you really need to be in tune with nature. So technology can help with that. Now, Jérôme, you created development to support the implementation for Fair for Life, 1%, or development fund rather, that Véronique has already mentioned, to support the Fair for Life. 1% of net revenue from Fair for Life labeled Mouton Cadet bottles sales pays into the fund, and the growers, not the winery, decides how the money gets spent. So if I understand correctly, projects are proposed, debated, and voted on at the association's General Assembly. Maybe, Jérôme, you could give me an example of a recent project that was voted on and approved by the growers themselves.
Yes, we have a board, and the first one of the first choice was to work about the cost optimization tools. And now we have worked with an accounting firm, and we can have to help our farmers not only for the technical part, for the economic part, to optimize the cost of production. Because as Véronique explained, in terms of global performance, global management today, it's really important sharing the data, the experience about from the community of our farmers. We have now we have developed this bespoke software to help them to optimize the pilotage of the production, the cost of production of our wine. And
That's
this
great.
is really, really important because you know you need to reduce the risk. You need to optimize in each step of production the cost to be sure that you have good quality, good production, and good. You optimize your production, your operating costs, and your operating expenses.
Yeah, and the growers are sharing their learning. So somebody
Yeah.
over in that vineyard is sharing with somebody
Yeah.
else that they
It's
might.
one of the power of
Yeah.
this to share the data, in fact.
That's terrific. And this development fund, if I understand correctly, it hit $200,000, roughly speaking, 121,000 euros in 2024, which is huge. But it's not even mandated by the Fair for Life program, if I understand correctly. You've gone a step beyond Fair for Life in implementing this development fund?
No, it's part of the Fair for Life demand. So
Okay.
yes, Fair for Life is requesting that you create a development fund for the wine growers.
Okay.
And they also request that you establish a kind of association with your growers to debate about that.
Okay, that's terrific. It's great. I'm glad it's all integrated. So, I'm going to deal in dollars here rather than euros for our audience, but
Yeah,
the
as you want.
$200,000, how is that allocated and what's left in reserve currently?
the 4 collective projects identified by the community are cost-optimized production, but after climate adaptation trials, I think is key too, because it's really important because the climate is changing to find the good technical way to have a good quality and quantity production. After we are in Europe and in France, we have a lot of rules about the regulatory support. And after, one of a pillar of Fair for Life is the transmission. All the knowledge about the transmission. We are, as Véronique explained, since long time, 95 years, we're producing Mouton Cadet. We are looking the future, and the transmission is one of our pillars. And we need to help our wine grower community to transmit the properties with between the family or between, I don't know, to see vineyard in the future in Bordeaux.
Right, right. Yeah, as that's a huge challenge. As the climate changes, you've got to keep up with the new techniques. It's not like let's just optimize what we have and then we'll be good. It's like every year you're kind of thinking, okay,
I totally agree with
conditions
you.
are changes. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. And so the cost optimization tool was built with an accounting firm. Jérôme, how did wine growers react the first time you showed it to them?
You know, they were very interested because, you know, it's a key today. They manage a farm, but they manage an enterprise. And today it's really important to have the good tools to optimize to optimize the cost of production. And I think it's really an additional value interesting for them. That's why, you know, in the future, because we have this risk with the climate, you need to be to have all the data, all the information to be efficient.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so many factors going into this. So, Veronique, what does a fair purchase price mean for you? Like, how is it calculated? How does it move or change when you're dealing with your growers?
So for us, it means offering price, first of all, price above the market average, but based on real production cost and within a long-term contractual relationship. So as Jérôme was explaining, we were analyzing together with them their production cost. They could realize some very effective initiative that they could take to be more effective, to have a better overall management cost. And all of this initiative is helping them and helping us together to make sure that the price we give them is the right price and also above the market average. But what is also important is that beyond the price, it's also about ensuring economic stability and visibility for the wine grower, which is essential for them to invest, to adapt, and sustain their activity over the time. Because here again, we are talking about transmission. How is the future looks like? How will I'm a wine grower, my future counts to me, but what I'm doing today is also important because what I'm doing today will probably drafting my future. And so this interconnection between fair price, but also this holistic approach is making a huge difference.
Yeah, it's almost like you're creating the structure for a small family winery that is concerned about generations in the future, but you're doing it at scale because of the way you're rewarding and paying your growers. You know, for instance, I'm sure if they invest in new technology or whatever that creates better grapes or whatever, it affects the growing season in a stronger way, you're considering that in the price you pay because, you know, if they've had to invest more, then you've got to consider all of that
Yes.
in the price that you give them. But whereas they might not make those investments if all they were trying to optimize for was let's get the most I can, the most money I can for this crop, and whatever happens in the future.
And you know what? Sorry, you know what, Nathalie? I think there is also something very important. When you are a small company, a family company, as small as a wine grower, this person is probably with a lot of expertise in their vineyards, but they are missing some capability.
Sure.
From an administrative point of view, from a perspective on how to manage in a very effective way my winery. How do I do that? And they feel very lonely facing this. And with that Fair for Life project, it was a kind of as I said here again, and sorry for repeating myself, but this kind of 360 approach allows us to tackle every single step from the vineyards to the consumer. All the value chain came under analysis, and that was a kind of revelation for the wine grower, but also for us. Sure. Making people aware of what happened in their vineyards.
Right, absolutely.
At the same time, is optimizing the quality, because the focus, we are helping them to optimize everything, reducing the risk. You can have a stronger focus to optimize the quality of the wine. And this is the key for our brand too, because the target too is to optimize the quality of Mouton Cadet.
Sure, sure. So I see how it works both ways. You've got a small grower who does not have a finance expertise, didn't go to business school, no marketing, whatever. So they can almost outsource that expertise to you and benefit from that, and also the collegial sense of being able to learn from all of their other growers that are within your community. And then in turn, all of that expertise translates into better quality because they can afford to invest more in the vineyard, create better grapes, and ultimately a better wine. So it really is very synergistic the way this is set up, using everyone's expertise in the best way possible. It's marvelous. So what's the projected fund size for 2025, the development fund size, once the 2023 vintage ships to France and Canada? Do you have any predictions of what it'll be?
The fund reached around 260,000 euro, thanks to the consumers, and it's good because we can invest more for many different projects, and this is good because we can see the interest of the consumers from our farmers,
Right.
who are working with this Fair for Life, and I think this is good in the good way. This trajectory is really unique, as explained Véronique, in Bordeaux, and I think it's a good way, in this optimist way for the future.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds marvelous that it's going to grow to 260,000. No doubt also helped by the fact that you are the #1 premium selling wine from France. Certainly in our market, you really win the category. So but that's great that it all works together like that. Véronique, why did Canada make the short list, alongside France, of course, for the Fair for Life launch? Why did you want to launch here?
So first of all, there is a great history between Canada and Mouton Cadet, because we started in Canada, in Quebec in 1954,
Wow.
and in Ontario in 1962. So quite a long time ago. This is already a good reason why. But also, I think, we discover that it's a market that is very sensitive to sustainability and very receptive to credible initiatives. And we did also some research, and 1 consumer over 3 are willing to pay for wines that have certification. So there is a kind of sensitivity from a consumer point of view to how the wine is bottled. It's not only having a good wine, of course, you need to have quality, as I said, is just the first step. But then if you can offer something more, and if your consumer is willing to pay for it, because then they feel part of the story.
Absolutely. And so when did it officially launch in Canada? I mean, we've got the bottle here. I see the Fair for Life. So how long has this been in the market now?
By, I think it was December 24. I need to go back on my memory on this one. I think it was December.
Yeah, it was a vintage 22, December 24, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Voilà.
okay. So it's been a
with
nice...
vintage 22. This is for sure.
Exactly.
And
Right,
if
on the
I
bottle.
remember well, that was December 24.
Okay, great. So it's been here a little bit, but not long. So Véronique, by December 31st, 2024, 1.5 million bottles had sold with the Fair for Life, with 20% of them in Canada, which is phenomenal. What does that 20% tell you about Canadian consumers? You've mentioned some interesting statistics. 1 in 3 really cares about the sustainability message and is willing to pay for it. Is there anything else that comes to mind, other than we have good taste, of course?
No, and this is, as I said, this is the first step. This is the price to pay. If you don't have quality, I think you can have all the label you want, but if quality is not there, then they will not buy again. So
That's
this
right.
is the first way to address your consumer needs. But it is just, I think it just confirms that the approach resonates with Canadian consumers. And probably that, as I said, it is creating a difference for Mouton Cadet, but it is also taking the consumer into a longer journey. And I think they feel part of the project. And well, this is what I like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Véronique, are you concerned that consumers see the Fair for Life logo on the bottle and assume it's the exact same as fair trade?
Yes. There is sometimes an initial confusion with fair trade, but for us, it's a real opportunity rather than a concern.
Okay.
Because Fair for Life is specifically designed for a sector like wine, and it goes beyond a simple label. It covers the entire, as I already said, the entire value chain from the vineyards to the consumer. But we also have a responsibility to educate consumers. So we must explain it clearly. And once they understand it, I think they appreciate the depth and the credibility of the approach even more and feel, as I said, like part of the story.
That's great. And how are you educating Canadian shoppers on what the orange logo actually stands for? So that's on the back of the bottle, but we'll include in the show notes the bottle front and back for those who are listening to us.
So I think we have been taking a very pragmatic approach. First, the label itself is key. It is visible. It creates a kind of curiosity, but it is really just the starting point. We need to communicate, to educate with clear, simple messaging in store. Through the QR code. You see on the back label of Mouton Cadet Rouge, you have a QR code. If you go through this QR code, you scan it, and then you've been redirected to a beautiful, how can I say that, video, small movie that explain you what Fair for Life is all about. But what we did as well, and that was especially last year, and we will redo it this year, we had dedicated social media campaign focused on this Fair for Life label. What we did last year in Canada, we reached around 3 million people. And this is a good way as well to explain what Fair for Life is all about. And we will redo this campaign again this year. But we also need to convince journalists, opinion leaders like you, that Fair for Life is not just a gimmick, but
Right.
a meaningful commitment.
Yes, it's not greenwashing or just a marketing thing. Yeah, well,
No.
sign me up. I'm convinced. So you've done your job here. But it's an ongoing process. It's a story to keep telling over and over, and in different ways on different platforms, so that you reach
Yes.
different audiences. Yeah, absolutely.
And we need to get some ambassador as well talking about that initiative. And I think consumer they have a lot of curiosity, and once they are curious, then they are willing to take time to understand. And this is what I like.
Absolutely. Now, Veronique, you've previously said it is a dark night in Bordeaux because we have too much volume. Is the sun coming up yet, or is it still getting darker? And how does Fair Life help?
I will be very honest with you. It is still very challenging with significant overproduction and declining volume. And yes, in that context, we need also to reflect, we need to adapt. Bordeaux is traditionally known for complex red wine, but that no longer fully matches what many consumers are seeking. Recent study, we did some study as well with the CIVB. This study suggests growing demand for wine that are more approachable, with softer tannin, more fruitiness, and greater drinkability. White wine are also becoming more appealing to younger consumers because of their freshness and aromatic profile. So we need also to listen, being humble. Probably Bordeaux need to change, not from one day to the other, but slowly, surely listening to our consumer, and also moving to a quality that is addressing the consumer need.
Right.
And you know what? Fair for Life will not bring the solution, but it's probably also part of the solution. It is not because you will drop the price dramatically because you have too much volume, then you need to drop your price to get more volume and to get that volume out to the consumer. No, this is not sustainable. This is taking your quality down. And we need to go to the other side. We need to understand what consumers are looking like, and we need to provide, to give to the consumer what they desire. And this is a work that we are going through together with Jérôme and his team. We listen to the consumer. We take also the climate change into consideration, because this is also part of the game. So are we on the dark side, or are we seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? I'm quite positive. I'm looking to the light at the end of the tunnel, but we still have a lot of work.
Absolutely.
We need to take this with humility and taking seriously the consideration of the consumer, because this is what counts. He is the one who will drink the wine. And this young generation coming up, and I have young generation in my family as well, they are not looking at the wine like I do, like you do, like some great connoisseurs are doing. So we need to respect that.
Sure, they're looking for something that's, as they say, is crushable or sessionable. But
Yeah.
that story though of Fair for Life is still part of that package that the younger generation really values as well. They want authenticity. They want to know where this comes from for any product they buy or consume. So this is, as you say, an important part of the package, the Fair for Life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Fair for Life is an immaterial value for our
That's true.
wines.
That's
And
true.
we have with Fair for Life is interesting because we support curiosity, humility first, I think, because it's really challenging every year with working with the farmers to find the best way with the good cost, everything, and the good quality. But we, in addition, we have this curiosity, and as Véronique explained, we want to explore the future. We are not looking, we are looking at the high part, we are looking the light. And we can imagine, and in the wine, we need to have many imagination. And we can imagine there is a light. And we are convinced, both with Véronique, but with all the team, there is a light somewhere, and we are in the good way to find this light.
I love that
Conviction.
metaphor.
We
The
are ready
light.
to fight.
Yeah, the light for vision and leadership and seeing the future, and the light, of course, for the vines themselves. Now, Veronique, with Gabriel and Company, you were the first Bordeaux branded wine to put the Orange Fair for Life logo on the front label first. What did that decision cost or earn you?
I think this decision to highlight this Fair for Life reflects the famous strong long-term commitment rather than a short-term gain. So Fair for Life is a kind of recognition of the journey that we are going through because it has required significant investment from adapting agricultural practices to implementing a full audit process, supporting our wine grower in meeting high demand standards, quality standards. And with each audit, the level of requirements becomes even more strict, which pushes us, but also the entire value chain to continuously improve. So we are here talking about continuous improvement through all the value chain. And I really love that label because it is demonstrating the strong commitment we have for the wine grower, for the community, but also for the future. And at the same time, it is strengthening our differentiation in the market. And this is then, for me, a kind of win-win situation. This is engraving no, it's not the right word. This is really putting through the DNA of Mouton Cadet. It's all about sustainability and transparency.
Absolutely, and given the volume issue that you've mentioned, you do need to do things that differentiate and are authentic and have a great story. Now, Jérôme, Bordeaux is pulling up thousands of hectares of vines because of this overproduction. Does your model offer a way out for some of the wine growers? Are you looking at that aspect too, or does that come into your model at all?
Yes, as Véronique explained, it's a disaster because it's a part of a story of Bordeaux to have this vineyard, this fantastic vineyard around the city. But in our case, in our community, no one approached vines to kit. If we pull out some vines, it's because we have managed the vineyard to limit the risk because frost, because climate problems. Our model is made to improve the management of the vineyard,
Right.
And what we want is to have to work with wine growers resilient and viable. This is a key, resilient. If you are resilient, you have the capacity to reimagine, to for farmers, which is important is to produce quality and quantity every year. That's why we are working with this community to reduce the risk and to optimize the cost and to optimize the quality. But I think they are very, very resilient. A farmer is much resilient than many people,
They have to be. My goodness, if you're dealing with Mother Nature, you just realize that it's not a business for control freaks. You're going to have to roll with whatever nature gives you. So, Jérôme, 30% of your vineyards now are organic or in conversion to organic. What's a realistic target for that percentage, say in 5-10 years?
Today, I think that our aim target, if we can maintain 30%, I think is fine. After, the key is between our farmers is to exchange good practice. And step by step, our trajectory is no pesticide, is to work with mechanic cultivation, to have cover crops, and we are improving every year, step by step, perhaps not with a label, but to have a organic community. But this can be a long way, because you have the technical part, you have the economic part, you have the transmission part for the properties. It's a global view for each property with a singular process.
Now, Mouton Cadet phased out chemical weed killers completely from 2019 onward. What's replaced them in practice, or is that the cover crops you're talking about, or what's been the most effective?
Red clover is beautiful. If you visit the vineyard now, everything is red and it's fantastic. It's beautiful. But after, you have all the new technical mechanic soil cultivation, and this is interesting too. And slowly, exchanging the good practice and the experience, we are investing with our farmers to improve this part, because our target is, when you buy a bottle of Mouton Cadet and you analyze the bottle, you don't have pesticide inside the bottle. And this is more than unique, and I can say to you, it's a Véronique commitment to have 0 pesticide inside the bottle. When you open a bottle of Mouton Cadet, you don't have pesticide inside. And I think this is really important.
Absolutely.
It's
and now
impressive.
the 2023 vintage will carry the Fair for Life label. How does the 2023 wine differ in the glass from 2022?
The climate is king, but perhaps I think 22 is singing and 23 is dancing. We are making wine alive, and our target is to make vibrant, dynamic, and truly wine, alive. This is super important, and with the team, because we are working with the team and the farmer. We want to catch the fruit during the harvest, to have something really generous, impressive when you taste the wine. And always, as Véronique asked me to be elegant, drinkability, softness. This is a key, because the new consumer doesn't want to drink old-style Bordeaux with many tannins and too dry or too bitter.
True. Yeah,
it's time for the tasting,
changing.
No?
Oh, yes, absolutely. All this talk about what does it taste like.
I am like you with a bottle.
Yes, so I have the bottle, which I've been showing, and we'll put in the show notes for the logos. But I would love to hear from both of you what you get in the glass. Maybe, Jérôme, you want to start. Wow, really.
First of all, when I'm tasting this wine, I have always a part of emotion. Because it's strong commitment. I'm thinking about our farmers, about the diversity of the territory of Bordeaux. It's a lot of work. And after, if you smell this wine, we can see all the expressive, the palette of Bordeaux, with the red fruit, the black fruit, the spicy. It's attractive.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's so alive.
Yeah, and you have this freshness. You
Very
don't
fresh.
have too much tannin, but you have this freshness.
Oh yeah,
And
makes
I
me
think
want to
this is the
eat.
key. If you want to drink again, you need to have this freshness. We
Yes,
work with different, we have farmers with clay soil, gravel soil, limestone soil,
right?
and all in during the blending is really interesting because because we are working to find the good balance between freshness, texture, structure, and drinkability.
And you know,
I'm sure
freshness.
Veronique want to drink a glass now.
No, no, because, well, you know what? I forgot my glass of wine, so I
That's
was,
okay. I'm
I
sure you've
was,
tried this one before, though,
but Jerome
right?
is talking about his experience in a glass
Yes.
much better than I could do. And what I love is when he say 22 was dancing and 23 is singing. This is absolutely enjoyable.
This is so good. The wine, like some people kind of think, well, what does fresh mean? I get what you're saying. But it is just so alive. It makes your mouth water. The fruit is not heavy or dry. It's just joyously ripe. But again, it's not a fruit bomb. It's still got that elegance, and the length goes on and on. So you've got a really well-made wine that still, I think, is what people are looking for. Very modern style, very crushable, sessionable. I mean, it's all those things, but it also, to me, says, get me some food because I think this would be marvelous with food. Do you have some
Yes, with
food
red meat or
pairings?
with cheese for sure. You know, yeah, there is many pairing, but if you want
So
you
good.
can have the pairing with the food, but you can taste this wine if you want to discuss with your best friend and to change the world. It's the perfect bottle.
To change
After
the
the
world.
first bottle,
Okay.
you change the world. You know.
Pairs well with plans for world domination, or no, change the world,
You
not
can
dominate.
reimagine everything and fair for life everywhere in many companies. No,
Now
it's
those,
interesting.
yeah,
We know
those are great
we
tasting
want
notes.
to have people happy. When you drink this
That's
wine, it's
true.
important
That's
to have a
true.
smile.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It just feels alive. Like I know these are seemingly abstract terms, but I think you really have to taste it to get what we're saying if you haven't before. But it's just so lively, so yes, fresh, but it's got this length on it, and it's just so juicy. It makes you just want to go back to the glass again and again. It's like, oh,
Cool.
more. Tasting note more. But
No, I'm very jealous because I don't have my glass of wine now.
well, we know you've tried it at least a couple times before, Veronique, so we
Yes.
know you know what we're saying here.
Yes.
But Veronique, if you had to put one sentence on the back label about what Fair for Life means for Mouton Cadet, what do you think you would say or
Oh,
put?
yeah, yeah. So I think, first of all, Fair for Life is not just a label. I think it's a philosophy. It's a way of living. It's a way of working. It is our commitment to build a more human Bordeaux where every decision we make honors the people behind the wine, the land they cultivate, and the future we chose to shape together. It's a beautiful story. And this is my promise to you. This is the Mouton Cadet experience.
Wow, beautifully
Yeah.
put. A more human Bordeaux. That's poetic. I love it. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I think this is a good place to wrap up, but let me ask you both, is there anything we haven't covered that you wanted to mention as we bring the conversation to a close?
No, I think it was a nice discussion. So thank you for that.
Oh, my
And
pleasure.
and I think there is a special link between Canadian people and Mouton Cadet. It's a long story,
It
actually.
is.
1954 and 1962. So yes, it's
Absolutely.
already a long story. And my wish is that we can permanently seduce the Canadian consumer because you always have to question yourself and nothing is granted. So thank you for drinking Mouton Cadet because you're making the life of wine growers better and you participate to a beautiful story.
Well, it is our pleasure to drink this. Thank you both for making it. And it's always great to talk to, a producer who is doing things at scale, showing the leadership, showing what can be done in the industry while still staying true to their roots, if you will, and producing a terrific wine that is keeping that human element involved.
Thank you.
Raise my glass to you both.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank
Right?
you.
Absolutely. So I will say goodbye for now, but the next time has to be in person with this wonderful wine, please.
In the vineyards.
Yes, in the vineyards.
You should come and visit
Absolutely.
with us, our family of wine growers.
That would be wonderful.
That,
That would
that's
be
a great
pleasure.
experience, absolutely, and we have even more story to tell. But if you live the story with us, then you're part of the family. You should
That sounds
come.
great. All right. Well, let's make
Cool.
plans.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Véronique, Jérôme. This has been marvelous. So I will now wrap this. Let me just put on my glasses too. There we go. I do wear them.